Pokemon POKOPIA's latest update is here, and that has also brought with it the first installment of the 3-part DLC, including the new Bubbly Basin underwater area, as well as a whole bunch of new Pokemon, furniture items. This update has added a surprising number of quality of life improvements that do make some significant improvements to the gameplay. So today I'm going to go over the best new features and adjustments that now feature in the game, because some of these are kind of smaller additions that are pretty easy to miss, but if you know about them, they will save you a lot of time. So whether you've already jumped into Bubbly Basin or you're still deciding if it's worth picking up, this video may help you out. So grab your swimming goggles and trunks and let's get into the video. I'm going to start this list off by talking about trash. Yes, that might not be the most positive sounding thing, however, it is definitely a benefit to all players. The game has been out a number of months now, and if you're like me, you might be drowning in blocks, and every time you return from a dream island, you forget to drop off all of that useless rock that you are never ever going to use, and so you find yourself making unnecessarily high trades just to get your hands on one piece of Pokemetal. I've been there, I've done that. And how many times have I stared at this little garbage can, hoping that I could chuck things inside of it just so that it was gone from my inventory? Well, if that is you, your dreams have definitely come true, as you can now use the trash can. It is going to be a functional piece of furniture that you can put blocks, items, whatever it is into this, and then at the end of the day it will disappear. I'm so grateful for this because it means my inventory is not going to constantly be at a full state. I am so appreciative of this. I don't know whether this is something that they have planned to do from the get-go or whether it is something that they've listened to feedback on, but either way, I am a very happy Pokopian. As a decorator, I love to use the Magnet Rise ability a lot, and I also use it quite a bit for clearing out resources, and that's exactly what I was doing on stream in the Bubbly Basin when one of you very kindly told me that there is now a setting in your options tab where you can go in and you can actually turn off the confirmation messages. So now when you're using the Magnet Rise ability and you want to switch out, you want to turn it off, you no longer get that really annoying kind of little pop-up message if you have this enabled. Trust me, it's little things like this that do speed things up massively. So if you haven't enabled this, I highly recommend it. I love the customization options in the game. I really like being able to add patterns, change up the colors of things. Sometimes they're a little bit skewy and don't always appear how they should look, but I am very happy that we do have this ability in the game. It just allows you to add that kind of personal touch to it. And it always intrigued me why certain items hadn't been included in this. And well, as of today, things have now changed and the following items can now be painted. These are the stylish stool, the handrail, the metal chain, the workbench, vending machine, my personal favorite, the bike, the bookcase, the Pokemon Center counter, the arrow sign, and also the rope. I am a little bit upset that they didn't include the canoe in this list. I really hope it is an oversight and maybe we'll see it in the future. This might just be a me thing because I just don't like the color red, but it does seem like an odd thing to miss out, particularly when this update is all about everything water and diving related. So fingers crossed, in the future there may be more items coming that we will be able to customize also. One of the things that used to kind of grind my bones when I was trying to go on a massive run to get lots of Pokemetal was the fact that I couldn't eat whilst in the Graveler or the rollout form. So what you had to do was switch form and then eat and then transfer back. Well, now this has been fixed, which will make things so much easier. And in addition to this, they've also changed that you can now suck items up whilst in this form. So not only can you destroy lots of blocks and kind of eat and keep going quicker, you can also now clear out the area as well without having to change what form you're in. This is just a nice little kind of gameplay improvement that is definitely going to make things easier when you are grinding for resources. One of the big things that have come of this, and I think probably one of the most shocking things, is the shared storage system. Now, I didn't want to get my hopes up about this because I could have had wild dreams that it was going to be like Animal Crossings, where you have like almost endless amount of supply at your kind of fingertips and you can just easily put everything in there. But that's not the way the storage system has ever been designed in POKOPIA. So honestly, I wasn't ready for it to be kind of to that extent. But from what I've played with kind of briefly, it does seem that it is doing a good job of allowing you to kind of move between the different zones and you still have access to it. So the way this works is that you purchase the recipe for the pod and then you can place kind of different pods all around your different biomes in different areas and pallet town and so forth, and then you will always have access to that and the shared resources throughout it. It isn't endless, you don't get lots of storage space, but you do have enough. And one thing that I have found it good and most useful for is putting it near a crafting bench. So it does pull from here, which is an added bonus, I think, and it's a good place to kind of put stuff, those resources, materials that you know you're going to be crafting a lot of. So things such as wood, lumber, kind of clay, maybe perhaps rocks, whatever it is, poker metal. So you always have stuff that is easy at hand, kind of your materials that are ready to go, and whenever you need something you can just run to your specific crafting bench where this is located, irrespective of what land you are in, and get crafting. I do think it is kind of a nice kind of middle ground between the current endless boxes that we have filled with materials and also the kind of like Animal Crossing style storage system where you just have like access to one thing and then everything is kind of contained within there. And I think that they've done well to listen to the players on this, and hopefully it will help alleviate some of those frustrations with the storage system, as that is potentially one of the biggest letdowns of POKOPIA, I would say. If you've watched any of my decorating videos, you will know that I am obsessed with these little square hedges. Now, I've always dreamed of putting things on top of them, and I kind of wasn't thinking that this would be something that they change, but they have, and from here on out, you'll be able to put whatever you like on top of them. I've tested out these little flower things. You can actually put real life flowers, well, they're not real life flowers, you can actually put the in-game flowers on top of them as well if you want even more foliage going on in your town, and you can also put things like the windmills on top of them. I haven't experimented much further than that, but yes, if your brain is thinking, can I stack them on top of one another? Yes, you can. So now we can even have hedge towers if we want to, but I'm very excited for this and to play around with it. Another thing that I'm very grateful for when it comes to your storage is the fact that there is now the option to bulk move things. This is one that I was really hoping that they would have added, and it's something that I've seen in lots of other games in the past, so I was kind of shocked that it wasn't here from the get-go. But from now on, when you approach a storage box, you're inside the storage box and you press the plus button, you will get the options appear to move identical options that are already contained within that box from your inventory and automatically put them into that storage box, or you will get the option to move everything that you possibly can. Obviously there will be a limit, so it's not going to move everything if it doesn't have the necessary space, but this is great. And it's also good if you already have kind of an existing organized space where you can just run it up to your particular box, transfer everything over that you need to. You're not going to be kind of spending a lot longer time running between the different things and finding the right kind of boxes for them, because you can just do it, press a button or two, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this will speed up things. Yes, you are still going to have an organized storage area, but that's part of the fun. I've kind of got used to having my storage areas and I do like creating them. Call me crazy. But either way, this is a subtle improvement and hopefully we'll see a difference when it comes to organizing after a long spree going out collecting resources. Another thing that we can now do in bulk is appraise relics. I cannot tell you how happy I am about this because there is nothing worse than sitting through that dialogue lots and lots of times. Because if you're like me, I save up these relics, then run and see the professor and do it all at once, and it ends up with a lot of button mashing. But now on, you're going to be able to do this up to 10 at a time. You just have to kind of move up how many items you want to kind of appraise. Really easy, really quick. The only downside to this is that I would recommend that you sort your pockets before you do this so you can see what the new items are. If your pockets are kind of all over the place and you have random spots here and there, that kind of item will then fill that space, and then sometimes you lose track of what your new item is because it doesn't tell you if you use the bulk option. So just remember that, but either way, I'm happy that I don't have to torch Tangrove a million times just to appraise some things. Another thing that always confused me was the fact that Smear Guru couldn't learn patterns from photos that you had stored in references. So for example, if you went to a friend's island, you took a picture of something and it had a pattern on, and then you couldn't use that to kind of teach him to be able to then use that pattern. I'm really glad that they've decided to add this because I feel like there are lots of patterns that I haven't yet found, and there are definitely some that I want to get my hands on, and hopefully now this will be a little bit easier to do that. A while ago, I did moan about soil and kind of spreading it to like back to a normal grass block. Well, now leafage can be used on the farm soil to revert it back to a normal soil block. There was something about this that made zero sense, and I really appreciate that they've kind of taken it on board and you can kind of adjust this really easily without having to break the block and then just store it. I don't know what else you could have done with it apart from you now have a soil block. So at least now it can be changed. One thing that I kind of moved away from using altogether was paint balloons because I just got so frustrated with accidentally painting the wrong thing, and it happened a fair few times. I found myself wasting a lot of precious white paint over the months that I have been playing. Now though, they have improved the visibility of the target item when painting with your balloon, so it should be that little bit clearer as to what you're actually going to be painting, and hopefully you will save some paint along the way as well. There are, of course, more changes, and I will link the full patch notes in the link below if you want to have a full look at them. These are just kind of the big things for me that I think are going to be absolute game changers to the way that I play the game. Let me know in the comments what your favorite thing about the update is. Have you purchased the DLC and are you enjoying it? Tell me all about it in the comments. Let's have a chat about it, and I'll see you again soon with another video. Bye bye.